Hey, so before we get started today, I just want to point out one thing real quick. Since I kind of revived my YouTube channel, I made the mistake of not realizing that my audio balance settings were actually way off. So they have been corrected, which means that the game audio is probably going to be a lot lower than you're used to during these videos. Also reminds me I should put this back on. So, you know, just be aware of that. Anyway, this is going to be oh my god, if you thought these last two stages, the island stages, were bad, I just tried to frickin' sort out the grand tour and find ways to break the stage and ways to bypass barriers and stuff like that. This was such a pain in the ass because I found so many things that looked so promising, but just none of them actually panned out, except at the very end, and I'll get to that later. But first off, yeah. But first off, whoa, game, what you doing? The game horribly froze for a moment there. First off, I swear to God there has got to be a way to get out of bounds right here in this first room. Like, I found that you can jump up onto this console, this camera, and then up onto these pillars and such. You can get up here, and from here you can, like, get up on top of this camera, which I messed that input up, but I couldn't figure out anything else to do in here, which is frustrating. It's going to be a recurring theme throughout most of this video, and this is probably going to be a longer one than all the others so far, just because there's so many occurrences of that sort of thing. I couldn't find any way to get up on top of stuff in this area. I did find, so there's an artifact back here, in case you didn't know, but I did find that you can actually get on top of these crates right here, which normally with Blake I don't think it's possible, since you can't just kind of work your way up, but you can actually stand on these little, like, little L brackets, and then from there you can get up on top of those. But again, I couldn't find any use for it, which is mighty disappointing, I gotta say. Also, just like in pretty much every other stage in the game, there are some, like, reused set pieces, like for example these sort of thresholds that lead into elevators and out of elevators. You can stand on all of them, which gives you some extra height to get up on top of things, but there's nothing you can do in this area from what I found, so with that, so whatever. Moving on, you get into here. This is where there's a couple of interesting things you can do. First off, you head off to the right, you see this little, like, assembly area that's completely pointless because it's entirely isolated, and the design of this area is so strange. But anyway, using that exact trick that I mentioned a moment ago, how you can stand up on top of these little sort of, I don't know, banister-looking things, you can actually use that to get yourself on top of these wall details right here, and then from there, I mean, you're up here. This is neat. You can see that there's some weirdness with textures going on and stuff that does and doesn't exist, but I couldn't find a use for this either. There's no way to get out of bounds in this spot that I know of. Would have been neat if there was, but sadly I could find no such trick or anything like that. Moving on over here, these pipes, actually, let me just trigger the combat here so I can get it over with and out of the way. Just to get this done so I don't have to deal with these nerds. Alright. So, all of these pipes that are up and along up here, you can get on those quite easily. You just gotta hop up onto this crate. A jump and 3 slashes usually does the trick. And then you're up here, and look at that. You can kind of hop along these and look around in this area, get up on top of some stuff, up on top of things that you probably shouldn't be able to ascend. Obviously, that's kind of the running theme of these videos, huh? Things you should not be able to do in RWBY Grimm Eclipse. Anyway, you can get up on top of this stuff, but once again, I couldn't find anything cool out of it. It's like, there are so many occurrences where you just get so close to finding something that looks like useful or feasible or plausible, and then there's just nothing to do with it. It's just, ugh. But towards the end of the stage, I do find something that qualifies, sorta, so we'll take a look at that fairly soon. If there is a way to bypass this steam, I don't know what it is. Not gonna worry about it. Oh, pop. There's nothing you can do with that little valve right there. I didn't find anything useful with any of the vents in this stage. There's another artifact over there, by the way. This is something that you'll be seeing a lot more over the course of this video, but while I didn't quite figure out how to pass that steam, you can very easily ascend the pipe that's sort of hanging out above it. There's nothing here either, but that'll become pretty useful later. This area is like just packed to the brim with all sorts of things you can climb, but nothing to do with them. I mean, there is one neat little trick you can do in here, which I'll show off in a moment. As soon as I get rid of these nerds. No, nobody likes you. Dang creeps. Go away. Anyone else? Are we done? We're done. Okay. So you can climb on, like, pretty much everything that you can see in here. It's actually really cool. But, once again, I couldn't find any way to break boundaries. First off, these things are intangible. So, that's funny. You can get up onto this crate, up onto these pipes. You can explore back behind them, although there isn't really... There's nothing here. It's neat. It's a neat thing you can do. You can climb these pipes. Like I said a moment ago, would become kind of relevant. This takes some precision to pull off. You can climb those pipes. You can get over and around and up on top of things and go to, like, other shelves and stuff. All sorts of places you can go. But you can't do anything with it. You can get up to that little sort of like wall rack thing. You can get up to this one. What else? Normally when you're here, there is an invisible barrier that you can't bypass right here. But it's not very difficult to bypass that when you consider the fact that getting on top of these large pipes is really, really easy. You just want to get on top of it, go around, and look at that, you're behind the invisible barrier. Pointless. It's neat. It's a novelty. Most of what I've got to show off in this stage is just novelty. Like, you're behind things because you can be behind things. There is no... I couldn't find any value with it. You head over this direction. All of these sort of like big injector-looking things, sort of like piston-looking things, you can actually stand on these, and these tank majiggers are also non-existent. They just are, but they're not. There is an invisible wall right here. Like, there's a sort of an invisible right angle that I couldn't figure out how to get past, and it's on these sorts of wall segments that have that lip you can stand on, and there's a ton of them in this stage. Reused assets, after all. You can't. I couldn't figure out how to bypass it at all. With an exception towards the end that I will demonstrate once we get there. You can do nothing else of value in here. But if you wanted, you can just kind of be an invisible Blake. See? Nobody's here. Just a little pointer on the mini-map. Moving on, we get into the chamber with these giant tanks. I am actually going to ignore the combat for a change, because I just wanted to show, as yet another fun little novelty, you can get on top of these giant tanks, and then from there up on top of one pipe, but not the other. And the reason you can't get on top of the other pipe is because you see these wall segments here with the lip you can stand on? That invisible ceiling is at the perfect height to prevent you from getting on this higher pipe. I guess when they reused this particular asset with that had the sloped wall with the lip on it, it also, they just kind of copied over the invisible wall and ceiling and stuff that came associated. So you can get over a little bit farther. You can get up on this pipe too, but there's nothing doing with that. There are a number of ways you can get up on top of these pipes, which, once again, there's no point. It's just, it's here because it's here because it's here. That's, you know, that reminds me, actually. There is one thing I don't think I checked here. Can I get... I gotta try something there. This is one of the other ways I've found to get up on top of these, by the way. Whoa! Fall down there, obviously, is how it's done. And marvel at how much the camera really does not like me doing this kind of stuff. Can you just cooperate with me, game, please? I mean, this is nothing compared to the lack of cooperation I'm gonna get when I get to the very end of the level. I'm wondering if I can get up onto those two pipes up there in the corner and if there's anything of interest up there. But you know what? I'm not going to worry about that for now. I sincerely doubt there is anything there just because the vast majority of these walls and ceilings in this entire stage seem to be very, very solid. There's not really anything else I could discover in here. So just give me a moment. I'm gonna go ahead and clear this place out and I'll be back with you in a bit. That's better. Alright, I cleared out all those nerds. Let's carry on here as soon as Merlot lets us through. Sweet. Okay. Moving on down the way. There really, once again, wasn't a whole lot of interesting stuff you could do in this room either. There are some things you can stand on for funsies. Like, you can actually get up on top of these server racks, and I will show how that's done once I'm done with these guys. You know what? Give me a minute to finish this up. On second thought, actually, you ever wanted to know a really, really easy way to deal with these guys? Well, check this out. You stun them with a single ranged hit, get it charged in heavy, stun, charged in heavy, counter, charged heavy. Whoop, mistimed the counter, obviously. They get stunned like that with just a single ranged attack. It's actually really silly. Meaningless, but silly. Oh, you know, wait. This is, ooh, actually... Sorry, it came back to mind. I have something else that's interesting to show in this room. First off, though, at least I think. Yeah, it's this room. Okay, so first off, though, how to get up on top of these server racks. You can hop on this little wall detail. And there you go. There's no point in this, sadly. But it's a neat thing you can do. Okay, so this actually just came back to mind. I'm kind of surprised I had forgotten about it, but I found 2 ways in this stage, from my discoveries anyway, of how to get out of bounds. One of them is in this room right here, and the other one is just past here. First off, to get out of bounds in here, you're going to want to hop up on this thing like I showed earlier. You can stand on it. Move your way over to this wall detail, which I also earlier showed you can stand on this particular one. It's used like 2 or 3 times or something like that. From here, you can do the dashy slashy thing your way up to here that's just above the doorway. And then you can see there's a bit of a texture glitch right here. Normally, if you try to fall through this sort of glitch thing, like anywhere where you could stand normally, you would just pop out. You would just pop out, like out in an area you can walk. But since I just fell down within a wall, move yourself a little ways, kind of carefully, and look at that, you're out of bounds. Not that there's much out of bounds right here. It's the other side of the door, the other side of that threshold where I found some interesting stuff to see out of bounds. Once you're in here, I guess you can just walk back out. I don't know. That's an interesting one-way function. Let me go out the other side. To get out this side, you're going to do the exact same thing. Right about... Oh, nope, never mind. Try again. I guess what happened right there is I just got a little bit stuck because the game was like, you're not supposed to be here. And I actually noticed it for a change. Goodness. Getting to the other side of this door requires some interesting amount of precision. Okay, so we're back up here. Angle ourselves, make a nice jump. Walk forward a little bit off to the left, and then there you go. Now you're out of bounds. I'm sure that there's a way to get out of bounds towards the beginning of the stage such that you can skip basically everything by just walking along the top of all of those ceilings, all the solid textures. But at least this right here is just a neat little thing you can do where you're out of bounds. You can walk along this pipe. Basically all of these structures that you see here you can stand on. There's an invisible wall right here. That's interesting. Fortunately, you can just dash around it. Keep yourself moving, keep going along. You'll find a little bit of interesting stuff here. Just some things to see. Like a lot you can see inside that final room right there with those server racks along the wall and the terminal that you activate to actually complete the level. This is great, I guess. I'm out here. Can I get back in? Nope! Okay, that's fine with me. That is actually totally cool, because the other things I have to show off in this video, obviously can't get back to from there, and if I could, it would feel like a, I don't know, backtracking is lame. Anyway, the other stuff I have to show, this steam right here, you can actually get past very, very easily. I don't know if you can get past it going backwards, but let me show you how it's done going forwards. So where we just were, by the way, where I just showed you how to get out of bounds, is right through that gate, which is now completely closed because, what a surprise, it got shut because I wasn't actually there. There are two ways to get past this steam, both of which use basically the same function, one of which is just a little more stylish. This large pipe that you see running along the way here, you can get on top of it over here. You can, I said, get on top of it. Thank you, Blake. You can walk up, walk along. You start to get a feel for the location of invisible walls, invisible barriers after a while from doing this, but then you can just kind of suck a little less. And look at that, you're past. Neat. Now, of course, like I said, there's that way, which is, I think, the stylish way, but it uses the same function as the less stylish way. Basically, you can just kind of hop on the other end of the pipe. Whoop, you can position yourself a little better. Jump right over, and there you go. That's the fast strat, but the one that I just showed is more stylish because you're climbing up and along some shenanigans there. Now this, this was the most frustrating, like, invisible barrier skip bypass thing that I have ever done, ever. Yeah, okay, so you know, when you head down here, you see that giant, like, cylinder thing in front of you, which is implied to be where you go to get to the last stage of the game, like where the characters pass through to get down there, right? Normally you can't get in there at all. I found a way to get in there, but it took me, I kid you not, almost an hour. And basically what it was you have to... These pipes that run along the wall, up along the server racks, normally you can't actually get there because the invisible barrier is, you know, it's right here. You see, I'm walking towards the servers. I can't get to them because there's an invisible barrier. And because the invisible barrier is there, I can't stand on anything that's on the other side of it relative to here. But those pipes actually stick out a little. So with some really, really careful and very precise jumps, you can get yourself all the way along those, up on top of this slope pipe right here, and then between that slope pipe and the one that's kind of above it and to the right, you can just squeeze through and get in there. If you give me a moment, I'm gonna go ahead and pause the recording here and see if I can. Oh, I missed the thing. I'm going to see if I can get myself back up there for you so I can actually demonstrate, and as opposed to just saying that it's possible. Also, that jump was totally doable. I just kind of missed the timing. So, also, if you want to try this out for yourself, this particular trick, this is a neat thing to do. If you get caught down here and you run out of ult so you can't get back up to that ledge over there, which isn't really possible, just sit here and spam the counter button. 4 hits down, the bales will take you out, and then you can spawn back in. It'll put you right back up on top of that ledge. I will show you how to do the first few jumps of the thing I'm going to do that I wanted to showcase, and hopefully I'll actually get them right. I don't know. Best way I found to do this is to hop onto this rail right here. Do the dash, the attacks, and then this is the funny part. There's a very specific timing that I've found, which is going to be difficult for me to replicate while I'm talking. That's better. Difficult to replicate while I'm talking, so if you don't mind, I'm just going to go ahead and shut up here. That. I think, honestly, it's a lot more difficult than it looks unless you're already a speedrunner. Or you've already got those kinds of techniques down. I'm actually getting quite a ways in. Also, you'll probably notice that these wall segments right here, they're the same ones I've been talking about earlier with the invisible barriers you can't pass, which is why I can't just, like, run up those angles for better jumps. Run up the slopes for better jump angles. Goodness, am I going to make it This, it might not have taken exactly an hour, but it took a long freaking time. I'm almost there already. Come on. Oh, there we go. God damn it. Alright. Alright. Shit. Oh no. I was so close. Okay, give me a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and actually get myself up there and then show you what happens from that point. Okay, that only took 5 more attempts. That wasn't too bad. Anyway, once you get up to this area with these extra pipes, you can totally chill on these if you want. That's fun. You can walk up to this, you can climb up this one right up there, you can get down to that one down there. But what I want to show you, and I don't even know, discovering this was entirely an accident. If you make a solid jump right there, you land on the invisible barrier that normally would block you from getting in here, and it forces you to go through one direction. And because I was holding the direction that's into this way, it just kind of nudged me there. And once you're in here, you're trapped, first of all, as soon as you fall down off those pipes. But look at that. You're in the thing. You're in the thing that it looks so strongly like you should be able to just access by default. It's funny. It's hilarious that this is possible. But like I said, the only way to actually get through that barrier is through that gap up there, and since you can't from here get back up to that pipe without like some really precise alt jumps, you're stuck. So, and for some reason there is another invisible barrier right here. I don't know why. It's weird to me that it would exist there. Well, maybe I can get back up. I'm just gonna say probably not. Just straight up probably not. But yeah, if you ever wanted to do something that's completely pointless for the sake of doing something funny and wacky, here you go. Here's your opportunity. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get back up there. So I guess that's really the end of this video. There's nothing else to show. If there is another way to get out of bounds, I couldn't freaking find it, which means it's probably the time where I should ask for somebody's input on that. But anyway, that's it. This was quite an experience navigating this stage and spending a lot of time searching around looking for stuff that I could break and do. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the future with some more videos.